Hello, today I'm being joined here by Paula, Johnny, and Isaac for my presentation. Let's get right into it. The last thing one would expect from high school is a large amount of students taking drugs. The consequences of students taking these drugs will affect them in the long run and their peers. It could be your sibling, your child, or even someone's child you know of. The impact of students taking these drugs can negatively affect them and cause irreversible damage to them. Some of this irreversible damage that can cause to these students is, for example, academically, which will affect their chance to get into a college, emotional, and health impact. Let's first start off with academically. Well, let's start with marijuana. Marijuana impacts our high school students in a way that, as we can see here, the the amount of students that take marijuana is around 15.6% by 2017. It's been increasing every year. From 1995 to 2017, it's been increasing. And we can see here that the effects on our students are the following: difficulty thinking, problem solving, problem with memory and learning, reduced coordination, difficulty maintaining attention, and also, problem with school and social life. And this is all according to the CDC. The following drug that affects our students academically is nicotine. Nicotine can be found in any tobacco product. It also, as you can see here in the bottom right, 16% of our students do take tobacco. And in these graphs here shows how nicotine affects our students academically. On the left graph, it will show their GPA, and the bottom their GPA, and how many of these students are achieving this set score. So as you can see here, that students who don't take little to no nicotine, or not at all, 60% of them have around 3.75 GPA. While students who do take more than 30, cigs, it could be vapes that have nicotine in it, have only 40% of them having a 3.75 GPA. And as we get higher, we can see it just sharply drops to like 0. And same thing with absence over here. On the right side, same thing with the absence. That we can see here for students who take little or no nicotine at all, we can see that their absence rate gets lower and lower and lower. They may, miss 1 or 2 days, but or 3 or 4, but not much. While students who take a large amount of nicotine, could be cigs, like I said earlier, they have a large amount of absence. Now let's take a look at the emotional impact that this can take. This can have a toll on our students for high school. Well, first look at the causes. The causes, according to the NIH, in an article, Chronic Stress, Drug Use, and Vulnerability to Addiction, states that stress is a well-known risk factor. But why is stress so prominent in our, students, our adolescents? Well, it's for the reason that they have a lot going on in their life at the moment. It's a lot life-changing. They're transitioning from being a kid to being an adult. And they can have, expectations for their, grades, which are not keeping up, which can affect them. It could be, social expectations, and it all just, comes crumbling on them. And they need a way to release that, which they may, fall back on drugs. It could be, alcohol, and that just, makes them like they take a bit of it and they come back and they want more and more and more and more. And the effects of this are quite dangerous. According to an article, Consequences of Youth Substance Abuse, it states that the health problems can include depression, conduct problems, personality disorders, suicidal thoughts, attempted suicide, and actual committing suicide. The reason being that they will, become addicted to these drugs, and when they get separated from them, they can, have, depression. They can have, this shifts in their personality where like they just get very angry or anxious, skittish, one may say. And this is the emotional impact that these drugs have on our students. Now let's look at the health impact. The health impact on our students, as we talked earlier, it can affect them in, their brains, their ability to think, process information, retain information. But what stuff, really has this impact? Well, one of the main culprits is alcohol. Alcohol has been shown and proven that it can negatively affect adolescents who are still, in that stage where the brain is, maturing. It doesn't mature until the age of 25 and stop growing to that age. Therefore, students who take alcohol or even marijuana can expect to see their hippocampus, size of the brain, to be smaller. Another thing here, we can see to the right here is the amount of students who use e-cigarettes. Well, e-cigarettes can contain nicotine and tobacco like we stated earlier. Because of this, it can have long-lasting problems for their life. Because of this, the issue is that they will have to live with these problems. We can see that the percentage of the students that have taken any sort of e-cigarettes or other tobacco-related products is quite a large amount, 25 to 30% here for e-cigarettes, and cigars quite high, but it's been dropping recently, thankfully. But it's still a very dangerous amount of students who are taking these products. Anyways, to finish off, as you see, drugs are still an issue in our school more than ever. We need to spread awareness of these drugs so our students don't suffer academically, don't suffer emotionally from this, so the depression does not get worse, so their mental problems don't get even worse and decline horribly. We need to help them so they don't have long-lasting health problems into their adulthood or to get older and shorten their lifespans even. But on the bright side, that's what we're here for. We're here to spread the word, spread, this is the risk of taking these drugs, and help them. Anyways, thanks for listening.